Hey everyone, welcome back to another week of the Lucas and Lee podcast.
Yes, we are in the house on a beautiful Friday.
It is a beautiful Friday, and we have a special guest.
Yes.
We have a special guest with us. We have decided we both need to get some professional help. So in that regards, we have Dr. Allison Broennimann, a clinical psychologist with us. She has over a decade of experience. She is a member of the American Psychological Association, licensed by the state of California. She has her PhD in psychology from Palo Alto University. Very, very smart cookie.
The PA.
And she was recognized by the United States Congress in 2013 for her work with veterans and their families. And she has numerous WikiHow articles when it comes to psychology and therapy. But Allison, there is one other title that you have also, if you want to fill everyone in.
Yes, not only have I been working diligently at my career, but I have been dating on dating apps in the Bay Area. And one day I was driving home and someone in Stockton popped up in my feed. And here I am on this podcast. Lee Nevis is a former boyfriend.
A former boyfriend.
That's
a former boyfriend's better than an ex-boyfriend.
I'm just going to get down. I'm going to get down nitty gritty. Allison is my ex-girlfriend,
but it's not the one we talked about in the podcast.
No.
We wanted to clarify that. We don't want you getting any hate mail.
No. She shouldn't get any hate.
No, but
let's be very clear. And Allison and I dated back in 2023. Also, to make very clear, because we have talked about a woman I dated in 2023. Allison is not the 6-month disaster that I had, which was the one that you had to, help me with some PTSD on.
I did a little healing work there. Yes.
Did a little healing work there. But, Allison, we wanted to bring you on because you really like to talk about attachment styles.
Yes.
And so we are going to talk about how attachment styles, the different ones, and how they affect relationships.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. And just to put a plug in for my book, The Secure Self, hopefully it's going to be coming out in fall or spring of next year. So yes, I am very into attachment. And there are tons of new studies coming out that really just give us some elegant findings about what a closed loop system attachment patterns are. The sad news about that is we get stuck and we drive off the road and we get stuck in the mud. The good news is we could put it in low and back out and get ourselves out and back onto a secure pathway, which is beyond attachment patterns.
So the one thing, and when you and I were pre-talking, and I Venmoed you $100 so you can say nice things about me today. Everyone thinks they just have like one attachment style, and that attachment style is just like yours throughout your entire life. But that's not exactly the case, is it?
That is not exactly the case. And I can tell you the reason that that's not the case is we are not solely dependent on our parents for survival for our entire life. At some point, we are supposed to grow up and take on the ability to care for ourselves. And again, that's oversimplified because any circumstance can throw any of us right back into our childlike selves, right? On a moment's notice, we've all been there. Like I felt like an 8-year-old girl right before this podcast. Just a warning.
So what you're basically telling us is two people can be dating, and throughout the entirety of their relationship, there actually will be different attachment styles based on whatever they're going through.
Yes.
At the moment.
Yes. Our attachment styles, they are survival strategies that are what we call derivatives of the stress response or fight or flight. So that means that, you may or may not get activated. If someone's like moving in and coming towards you, you might become avoidant. If your partner gets avoidant, that might make you really anxious, right? And then the idea is to come back to security, right? And security means evaluating yourself and others' needs as equal.
Interesting.
I love it. Well, how is Lee as a boyfriend?
Oh,
Wait, hold on. We're not done with attachment styles yet.
Well, I want to find out what type of attachment styles Lee has.
I was about to go there. So like for example, I know from our relationship, like there would be times I would get very anxious, specifically when you went to go save the newts and help them cross the road.
Saturday nights were so hard for Lee, especially if it was combined with a horseback ride that day before, and I would be gone for the whole entire day. Lee could not bear that I would go spend a Saturday night rescuing newts in the rain and the cold.
I don't even know what a newt is.
Thank you, Lucas. You've proved my point.
I've never heard of a newt.
You have proved my point. They're these slimy little lizards. They're these tiny little lizards.
What are we saving them from?
They're about 4 to 6 inches long. We actually just got on NPR.
Who's trying to kill them?
No, we're not. No one on purpose. People just drive over them because they don't even see them.
But doesn't that have like everything, like cockroaches and other bugs too?
All the other bugs show up on the road.
Not the cockroaches.
We do save them as well. It's not fun, but we do. Yes. We get Turkish beetles on the road usually at the same time. We also get red-legged frogs and banana slugs.
So now, for context, so there apparently is a road up in, I don't know, Humboldt, Mendocino, I don't know where.
It's West Marin.
West Marin. I'm shocked that it's in Marin County. I am shocked, I tell you. Anyway, there's this road, and apparently the newts need to get to the other side of the road. I am a firm believer.
Don't get worked up, Lee. Don't get worked up.
I am a firm believer in Darwinism, and if Darwin meant those newts to get across the road without being ran over, he'd make them a lot more agile and a lot faster than they are.
I've learned something new today. I learned there's newts and there's people that save the newts.
Yes, and they do these mass migrations for mating. So it fits right into our conversation today with attachment.
But as silly as an example as that was, I use that as an example because, and I don't know how you would describe my attachment style throughout the rest of the relationship, but obviously, I mean, it's just it's a stressor or whatnot that pops up that causes your attachment style to go from what could be secure. Once again, I have no idea what my attachment style is, even to be perfectly honest. I would like to think I have a secure attachment style, but I also think I'm like super awesome and super beautiful.
Well, like anyone, you can get pushed into anxiety or avoidance if the circumstances are right. That's the key. It's all about circumstance.
So basically, for all our listeners out there, because like I said, there is this there's this conception that you have an avoidant attachment style, anxious, secure, when in reality we probably have all three of us in us, and they all come out.
All of us, and then everything in between, and every combination, and it all again, it depends on the circumstance as well. But the reason that they say they were fixed way back when is because the world was different. We didn't have fMRI machines showing that anyone can have all of these, but we might have one that is a more comfortable pattern that we slip into.
There you go. So now for people who want to know their attachment styles or know what to do when they feel a certain attachment style pops up, what would you recommend?
Well, I definitely feel like 50% of the population identifies as secure. So anyone can go online and find any simple attachment quiz, but basically I feel like you're going to know your pattern based on feedback from past or current partners and even friends. And the other weird thing that happens is we might have a completely different pattern with our friends, our family, and the people that we date. Okay. So again, it becomes this bizarre mix of we will identify with one because it feels safe. right? But really we might be like making these unconscious evaluations about the patterns in our relationship without realizing it.
No, I know myself well enough to know that I feel that, especially in relationships, I feel when I know that I'm pushed into an anxious attachment style. I just get
Yes.
I get
Yes.
very, and you witnessed it. There will be times I just get very anxious and very unsure because, it's just little old me over here. Who wants to love little old Lee? Come on now.
Right.
Come on.
Lee and love go hand in hand.
Lee
Right.
and being a
Well, and part of how we know it's an anxious attachment style versus an avoidant. And this is where the new example is so hilarious, because depending on if you like get really sort of like you start to evaluate the other person critically, that's like more of an avoidance style. So I feel like, you and I would play the edge of that with me going out there on Saturday nights. You were like kind of anxious, but mostly like, what are you doing? What's wrong with you? Why are you choosing this?
I was mostly anxious because I firmly believed you were interfering in the natural order of things.
Right. Yes.
And also for me, some car coming 100 miles down the road using you as a human bowling pin. So
I know. Exactly. Which was very sweet. Yes.
Now you can ask your question, Lucas.
Yeah, so how was Lee as a boyfriend?
Oh my gosh. Well, first off, if you put a political consultant and a psychologist together, you're going to have a good time. You're going to have a lot of great conversation. You're going to be strategizing about everything under the sun. And you're going to, we just had a blast on a lot of levels. I felt like we really, I think we both wanted a relationship too. And I think the hardest part was that it was so great on paper. And then it just, for a variety of reasons, it didn't hold, but our friendship held, which is really cool.
Well, friendships are more important than relationships sometimes.
I think I don't think I know that our communication styles were complete 180s, because you were very subtle when it comes to things, and I need to be hit over the head with a frying pan.
And as we reviewed, I charted out our Myers-Briggs personality styles for fun. And I'm an introvert and you're an extrovert. But we definitely were compatible for intuition and perception and all that good stuff. But the introverted part, for me to hit someone over the head with something, takes me so much energy. Like I literally can't do it because I'm just so introverted.
Well, I'm an introvert too, so.
And I, as my current therapist, who, by the way, I told my current therapist that we were doing this, and he said he was definitely going to tune in.
Oh my God, this was good. This is great. Yes, and the extroverted part, like you would probably get exhausted with my subtle hints, right?
Oh, I did get exhausted with your subtle hints. Let's be very clear. I'd be like, you wanted to what? I don't know. Just tell me. Just tell me. Don't make me play 20 questions or charades or whatever we had to do.
Well, that's the thing, is there's always an elaborate dance with an introvert.
There was definitely an elaborate dance.
Speaking of dancing, what is the luckiest city in California to dance?
To dance,
oh my God.
To get lucky.
Well, dancing and getting lucky.
Yeah. So
I'm trying to be politically correct.
No, you can, dude. Come on.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. I did pre-watch the episode, and I was shocked what cities didn't make it on the list.
So
I'm also not surprised. Bryn did not register at all, which I can vouch for.
So there was there was a reel on the gram about the 5 luckiest cities to get lucky in California. And I want to bring this up because the first 2 do not, the top 2 should not count. It was Stanford, which is not a city, it's Palo Alto.
Yeah.
And Berkeley.
Berkeley was 1 though, right? Berkeley was 1.
Yeah.
Berkeley was 1.
Those are both college towns.
But Berkeley is the city of free love. It's a city that, is very open, very liberal, very open-minded. That was where the make love, not war, all really came into fruition in the 60s. So I think beyond just the college campus of Cal, I think Berkeley is a freakish type of city. I think people get their freak on.
The fact that Stanford,
I don't believe. I don't believe that people at Stanford.
So look, Stanford, very high achieving educational institution. Okay, kids studying all the time because they got to get straight A's. And I can tell you from law school, when you get stressed, there are only a very few outlets. Okay, you either smoke pot, which I didn't do. You get hammered, which I really didn't do, or you have sex. That's it. And so my theory is that a lot of kids at Stanford are getting down because they're stressed over their calculus class.
Yeah,
would be my guess.
I can't believe that people are having more sex at Stanford than USC.
Oh, I can't believe. Well, right. I think number one was Berkeley.
Yeah, yes. Berkeley was number one. I think the state schools, people get more action. Absolutely.
No, because they're all commuters. If you go to
Fresno State, San Diego
there's
State.
A lot. Okay, maybe San Diego State.
Fresno State, San Diego State. I think those schools are a lot freakish.
Definitely everyone in San Diego is a freak, though.
I'd be curious what the average age of each of the cities is. And I would link that to, energy.
You know what city didn't make the top 5?
I know Stockton didn't.
Stockton did not make the top 5.
Stockton didn't make it. Novato didn't make it.
Yeah, Novato, that's where Steve Perry lives. He's not having any sex.
Allison, I think you may be the youngest person in Novato.
I think I actually am. Yes.
I've obviously spent my fair share of time in that fair city. And
that was why I was willing to import from the Valley, Lee.
My favorite football player right now is from Marin.
Oh, no way.
Blake Bowers plays for the Raiders. Don't hold that against him. He is from Marin. He is, in my opinion, George Kittle's my favorite tight end, but I think that Bowers might actually be a little better than Kittle eventually.
Is he also Fit Lurie's favorite player?
No, I think Fit Lurie's favorite player is Nick Bosa.
Oh, boy. Let me guess. Because Nick Bosa has muscles.
Yes, he's got big ones.
Well, I'm a big fan of Ayuk on the 49ers. He's still my number one. I don't know how he's doing this season because I always miss the games.
He needs to go see you for therapy. Ayuk does.
He does. I think a phone call needs to be made to Kyle Shanahan and get him some therapy. So that being said, speaking of therapy isn't for everyone. I do it once a week. Obviously, when we were dating, my therapist was worried that I was checking his work.
I love that. I think about that all the time. I just giggle. I love that.
But is therapy something that is for everyone? I mean, do you think everyone should?
I think it's great if everyone tries therapy at least once in their life and or some type of community support group for healing. I think it's really easy to feel like we have to go through this life alone on some level. And everyone at some point or another is in a situation where they feel like they don't belong or they need someone, and so I feel like everyone should at least try it. But for the long haul, I think very specific individuals absolutely want it. And yeah, I love therapy personally.
Well, I can just from just my specific example, I really started seeing my therapist after my ex-wife filed for divorce. And like you were saying, very much
circumstances pushed you,
Yeah, and I didn't feel like I belonged. I was a stranger in a strange land by myself in Florida, just gone through a very traumatic life experience and had another one shoved down my throat when my ex-wife said peace out. And I can tell you, I really do think my therapist saved me. My therapist really, I think that guy saved my life, to be perfectly honest, because I was
I believe it. I
was alone, and love that guy. See him every Thursday, 8 a.m. rain or shine.
Well, the great Rod Smith from the Super Bowl championship Broncos did two back-to-back great wide receiver out of Missouri Southern University. Rod Smith had told me when I was in Denver that everybody is carrying around a backpack that weighs 100 pounds. Why would you not ask somebody to help you carry that 100-pound backpack?
Exactly. We all have to walk through life, and we are all struggling with something. We're all suffering with something.
We've all got our thing. Yeah. Speaking of Rod Smith and playing for the Denver Broncos, there apparently is a football game on Sunday.
See, I need help.
There's a game this weekend.
Yeah, I need help. I need therapy because
actually, I heard there's a big concert.
Yeah, I'm a 49ers fan, and this is the worst possible outcome for. This is actually the worst possible outcome for any 49ers fan. The Super Bowl.
Yes, Lucas, I have dissociated. I don't even know where. I don't even know where to watch the Super Bowl. I don't even know how to think about. I started going through an algorithm in my mind, and I was like, maybe I need to start thinking about who's refereeing the Super Bowl.
Well, the referees will be the MVP for the Chiefs.
Wait. Do you still have that gigantic 50-inch TV you got just because I complained there was no football on Sundays at your house?
I was smart enough to realize that regardless of my current situation, if I want a boyfriend, I really need to get a large television.
If I was good for anything, it was that.
Yeah.
It was that.
I have tried to, at times I've considered logging into your ESPN without telling you, but I just can't do it. I'm too ethical.
I give you permission. I give you permission to log into my ESPN without my permission.
Thank you.
You are welcome. So that being said, there are 4 possible winners.
Okay, let's break this down, guys.
4 winners of Sunday's Super Bowl. There's the Chiefs.
Boo.
There's the Eagles.
Boo.
There's Taylor Swift.
Boo.
There's Taylor.
Boo. Boo.
Or Kendrick Lamar.
That's the winner. Kendrick Lamar is the winner. Kendrick Lamar, let me tell you about Kendrick Lamar's year. Let's hear it. Kendrick Lamar came on a song with Metro Boomin and Future, and he just rapped and said, "We're the big 3." That ticked off Drake and J. Cole. They actually shot back at Kendrick Lamar. J. Cole was smart to go, "I'm out." Drake decided to keep the whole beef going and got destroyed. How bad did he get destroyed? 5 Grammys destroyed. Kendrick Lamar's song, Not Like Us, is the biggest song of the year. It won 5 Grammys. Can you imagine being dissed so bad? I mean, the song annihilates him, and then the song that annihilates you gets you 5 Grammys, and then the icing on the cake is that you are performing the Super Bowl, so you get to destroy Drake on a national platform.
See, but here's the thing. Okay, Kendrick Lamar has 2 songs that are totally my jam. Not Like Us.
Yeah, which is the one that destroys
That's
Drake.
A ditty.
That is
a jam. And then the one song with the best tagline of all time.
Which one's that?
That would be The Recipe, because smoking weed with you, because you taught me to. Yes, The Recipe, which I actually did
never left the 90s. I'm still listening to 90s rap. I never moved on. I'm still just dissecting it.
So we're going to go, Allison, we're going to start with you. Who is, out of those 4, who is your Super Bowl winner?
Oh my God, Taylor Swift, like hands down. No, I do think the Eagles are going to take this game.
No, Kendrick is going to win. I don't care who wins the football game, but Kendrick Lamar is winning the day. He is the Super Bowl halftime show. He's going to have SZA on there with him. And maybe, just maybe, Dre who was in the audience at the Grammy Awards when Kendrick won one of his 5 and they focused on him, maybe Dre jumps on stage with him and does the recipe with him.
Oh,
that would be unbelievable. Let me tell you guys, that would be worth breaking into Lee's ESPN account to watch.
Heck yeah.
So here's the thing. The NFL will not let him do, not like us.
They don't want him to.
They won't let him.
I bet you they'll let them do a little tiny chord of it or something.
I bet you he's going to do not. I'm going to tell you right now. He's doing not like us, but they're going to leave the pedophile line out.
And they're not going to let him do the recipe because of the tagline.
Well, you just don't say the weed stuff.
That's what makes the song. That's what makes the song awesome.
But
oh my God.
You got to keep it wholesome for Super Bowl Sunday. That's why Taylor's probably going to take the day.
I think Taylor Swift wins the Super Bowl.
All Taylor's going to do is be on the screen over and over and over again. Or
that's why she wins the Super Bowl.
No, Kendrick's spins will be up, and all his streams will be up. So on Monday, his song "Not Like Us" was up 38%. The song is almost a year old. That is going to happen again on Monday after the Super Bowl. His music is going to be all through the roof again.
Are we going to title this podcast his name? For that day, for this day?
The Kendrick Lamar episode.
So the only way Taylor Swift can come close to Kendrick Lamar, and she still loses, is if she's brought on stage and they perform Bad Blood together. But keep in mind, she's performing it on Kendrick Lamar's stage. That's the only way she's in. That's the only way she's even relevant in this whole Super Bowl.
I wonder, Lucas, if we are going to have a run-in with current politicians and Taylor at the Super Bowl. That's what I'm wondering.
Yes, there will be a Donald Trump Taylor Swift showdown.
Or Elon and Taylor.
Elon's not going to be there. Is Elon? Is he going to be at the Super Bowl too?
I don't know.
How could he not be?
Somewhere.
How could all these people not be? And they're going to have to come face to face.
I don't know that Elon Musk knows what football is.
Possibly, he knows what rockets and overpriced electric vehicles are.
Yeah.
Okay, so now that we all have different views of who's actually going to win the Super Bowl, Taylor Swift.
No, it's Kendrick.
Worst. We have two nominees for the worst week ever.
Can I add a third one? You guys,
you can add a third one after we're done. So once again, Lee's spending way too much time on the gram. There's this clip with this female who just we call it like we see it.
Yeah.
She's less than mid. She really is. She's just not. She's not a pretty girl.
She's a 4 best.
They're a 4 best. There's nothing outstanding.
A 4 on a good day.
On a very good day, very good day. So
you guys, I have to slap both your wrists for saying that in the first place.
That's just
Everyone is beautiful.
Real talk.
And the therapist in you comes out.
And the therapist. Be nice.
So this girl deserves to have some hate heaped on her. She is on this radio show, and she literally is saying she only wants a man with money. She only wants a man with a $7 million house. Only wants a man who makes a ton of money. The radio host comes out and says, well, what if he's 5'7"? Yeah, that's fine, just as long as he makes money. And then she gets asked, well, what if he has ambition? What if 5-10 years down the road, he's going to be making some coin? And she's just stumped and stupefied. And they start clowning on her. Rightfully so. This is the worst if there is one woman where people could point to and say, that is why I'm single, it would be that woman right there. Just horribly bad.
I'm gonna blow your guys' mind right now. That dynamic is actually part of some of the research that's going on in attachment around what are the things that make us feel like moving towards or away from people. And if we got secondary reinforcement from our parents about certain things like money and houses and paying the bill and opening the car door and all that stuff, it's possible. It's just ingrained.
But she's just so $7 million home. It's very clear that she has her PhD in gold diggering.
Yeah, she's a pro.
Very clear. Very clear.
All pro.
Oh man, this is deep, Lee. That goes so deep.
It does. It does.
It's like it's like wired into us.
Yes.
How we feel taken care of.
And it, you know, as you very well know, that my disaster of a relationship back in 2023, the 6-month cluster, I mean, that very much had gold digger vibes to it the entire time.
I ain't saying she's a gold digger, but she ain't messing with no.
Yeah. Broke
Well,
leaf.
I mean, I love that song. I listen to it every week. So I don't know if I'm the best person.
It's a great song.
So, and then, so.
Great song. But I love what you guys are bringing up. It's like, what do we do with this when it comes up?
Run.
Yeah, run. Exactly. Run the other way, which is what I learned right before I met you. Run the opposite direction as fast as you can. So nominee number 2.
Okay.
Guy who also got clowned on the gram, had an own post made about him. So this guy was very good friends with a female friend of his. They're in college. And I wish I had the post to show everyone so they could see what we're talking about. But he basically made a play on his female friend and he got shot down. Kept her in the friend zone. Well, it was midnight. She was walking back from somewhere on campus and was like, hey, and by the way, while they were still friends before he made his play, if she needed to be walked to her apartment or anything, he totally would. Midnight, 11, you name it, he would walk her, you know. So he gets shot down, which happens to all of us.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
happens to us all.
happens to me my fair share of times. And she gets a hold of him and is like, hey, it's midnight. You know, I'm afraid to go out. Will you walk me to my dorm room? And he just straight up says, no, call an Uber. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Just straight up.
Wow.
Straight up. And like, dude has no shame about it whatsoever.
Wow.
Okay, Lucas, let's hear your nominee.
Back to the Kendrick thing. There's a person who had an awful week. Drake. 5 Grammys for a song that bashes you. So that's bad, right? But it gets worse. Drake had a concert in Perth, Australia. Somebody showed up at that concert with measles. Now everybody that is at that concert is at risk of measles and has to monitor themselves for the next 18 days because they have the possibility of an outbreak because somebody went to a Drake show that had measles. So not only was the diss song about Drake getting 5 Grammys and Kendrick Lamar is performing at the Super Bowl, Drake's fans in Perth, Australia are all wondering if they've contracted measles.
I think Drake gets the worst week ever.
I do too, hands down. The other ones are legit nominees. However, yeah, that one takes the cake.
Or Drake.
Allison, I know you are growing your online community as far as therapy and counseling goes. So if people would like to follow you and see what you have to say, how would they find you on the gram?
Oh my goodness. They could, I'm at the Dr. Allison B.
The is the T-H-E, the Dr. Allison B. Okay.
Yeah. The Dr. DoctorAllison B.
There you go. If you'd like to follow Dr. Allison Broennimann, see when her book comes out. We're very excited for your book to come out. I'm pretty sure there will be a chapter about psychoanalyzing me in there.
We should have had the theme song "Doctor Doctor" by the Thompsons.
Should have.
Doctor Doctor.
Should have.
Yeah, next time.
Yeah. For those of you who are interested in following Dr. Allison Broennimann at the Dr. Allison B on Instagram.com. Allison, thank you for being such a good sport and joining us today.
Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you. Bye, Allison.
Bye.
Bye.